Hello, and welcome to the What's Up London show. I'm your host, Jennifer Slay. Happy New Year! Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that the lands that we currently call home here in London, Ontario, are the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenape-Awak, and Shananton peoples. These lands are connected with the London Township and Sombra Treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wampum. I sincerely express my gratitude to the Indigenous peoples and their ancestors for what I and my family have received as settlers on this land. I also acknowledge and show gratitude to my ancestors who came before me, who made it possible for me to be sitting here today. Happy 2023! Today's show is all about recognition, growth, charity, and beauty. Let's start with an initiative that has huge impacts for people experiencing home insecurity. Atlohsa Family Healing Services is relaunching the Indigenous and Wiigiwaaminaan Winter Response Program for Indigenous people experiencing homelessness. Andrea Jib, the Director of Community Planning, is here to tell us more about it. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Jennifer.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy 2023.
Same to you.
So tell us a little bit more about the program.
Yeah, so we're really excited to be able to relaunch our winter response program. We operated a very similar program last year out of the same location at a Parkwood Institute. So this year we are re-welcoming Indigenous people experiencing homelessness into, I don't want to call it a shelter, we do try to make it a very home-like environment, but so for people who have been living outside or sleeping rough, we are welcoming them indoors. We'll provide a 24/7 stay for as long as they might need it, where they'll have food, housing supports, and Indigenous cultural supports as well. And so we do have a teepee set up similar to last year, and we have a fire going and lots of cultural supports on site.
That's wonderful. And do you find that the numbers have increased this year?
So for our response this year, our numbers are actually a little bit smaller.
Okay.
And that's not to say that the issue of homelessness has not been increasing over the last year, because it definitely has. However, for this year, our response, we're a little bit more limited in the numbers that we're of folks that we are able to bring inside and support.
Yeah. And my understanding with regards to Atlohsa is that you do a number of wonderful programming. Would you be able to share a little bit with our viewers what it is that Atlohsa does?
So Atlohsa provides culture-based and Indigenous-led supports for children, youth, families, men and women, all people across ages and life stages. We provide them healing and wellness supports to reconnect to culture, whatever that looks like for them. So we operate a domestic violence shelter for Indigenous women and their children. We of course offer a suite of homelessness programming services, and it would be really, it would take me a while to explain all the wonderful work that our staff are doing, as we've grown quite a bit recently. And so we do have a number of programs and services that folks who are interested can check out on our website, atlohsa.com.
Right. And so one of the things that we talked about is just because there's such a tremendous need and tremendous growth that way, there's the need for support to keep the programming going. What can Londoners do to help?
Yeah, so we do at the shelter have a continued need for a lot of day-to-day supplies, and so that might include like snacks, linens, different things like that we go through a lot of. And we also have, in the colder months, we do have quite a need for like winter gear and clothes and things like that. So hats, socks, mittens, coats, blankets are always something that we can use on site that our participants are very grateful for.
Mm-hmm. And can they be gently used, or are you looking for brand new? Or?
They can be gently used.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. And are there any other things that Londoners can do to support? Are there donations, like a link for donations, or do they call?
Yep, so we do have on our website at atlohsa.com, there is a link for donations that can be made. If people do want to bring donations in person to the shelter, they're welcome to do so. It's on the Parkwood site at 550 Wellington Street.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Andrea, and thank you for sharing the initiative with us.
Thank you so much.
We're going to be right back. Welcome back. The Lawson Impact Awards are a pinnacle of celebration in the research community at London Health Sciences Centre and St. Joseph's Healthcare London. The Impact Awards recognize hospital-based research that makes a difference by advancing scientific knowledge and applying it directly to patient care. Dr. David Hill is a scientific director at Lawson and Integrated VP Research, LHSC and St. Joseph's, and is here to tell us more. Welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So tell us more about the Impact Awards.
So the Impact Awards are a celebration of the health research we do in London's hospitals, and so much of that research really directly advances care of patients. Being hospital-based research means that a lot of the research we do is actually with patients as opposed to sort of cellular molecular mechanisms. And so we're really pushing the boundaries all the time of the next generation of healthcare that Londoners will receive. And not everything works out, but sometimes, in fact quite often, we have stunning findings that really push a field of medicine along. And it's only right we celebrate what we do in London.
Yeah, well, London has a rich history of scientific breakthroughs, right?
So, a very long list.
Yes.
I mean, right, starting from insulin in the early 1920s, innovative work in transplants, for instance. Our record in imaging is incredible. The first head image with an MRI machine was obtained here in London. And really every year we're contributing really important advances to health as practiced around the world.
Right. And so what are some of the categories for the awards that people will receive?
Well, we have an award that really recognizes, it's called Scientist of the Year, but really recognizes a body of work over a number of years. We have Innovator of the Year, and this year, for instance, it went to a researcher that's made some real advances in the diagnosis of COVID, for instance, and more recently long COVID. And that has really driven the field internationally, this research. So only right that be recognized, right at the moment where that's being communicated. We have the Best Publication of the Year, which is really the publication that, again, really made people sit up and think, wow, maybe we got it wrong. Maybe we need to think about this in a different way. So, for instance, this year it was an investigator that was working preclinically, so before you work on humans, but was looking at the effects of cannabis smoking during pregnancy and finding some sort of worrying sort of effects on the health of the placenta and then the development of the baby. And that's very topical because, cannabis use is, of course, legal now in Canada, but really is very, very poorly researched as to the positive effects and the negative effects in different situations.
So when are the awards? When's the event?
Well, the events we had to do virtually this year, so we did them in the fall. Next year, I hope we'll be back to a face-to-face, proper awards night, where we will invite all of our stakeholders and colleagues and supporters in, and we'll have a very nice evening. And then in person recognize the people who are really making a difference.
Awesome. And how can the community contribute? How can they help and support?
Oh, the community are huge supporters, predominantly through their gifts through the Hospital Foundation, so St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation, London Health Sciences Healthcare Foundation, and the Children's Health Foundation. All of them channel community support through directly to the researchers and their research teams. And without that, we would not be the power we are today in Canada in terms of health research. It's those dollars that enable that sort of really inquisitive work to be done to get the information that then enables you to be competitive maybe for provincial or national funds. So to kickstart a new area of research, that community support is essential.
Oh, that's wonderful. Londoners are very generous.
They're incredibly generous, and they support our heroes, and I think our health researchers are some of the heroes.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Did you have anything you wanted to share before we end?
Oh, I don't think so. No,
We got it all.
You'll air the videos of the people that we've been celebrating, and I'm sure your viewers will thoroughly enjoy that.
Okay. Thank you. And what's happening on the 28th?
That's on the 28th. That's when the videos are going to be aired on Rogers TV.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your time.
And thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Susan Goebel is the CEO and founder of Scaling Management Consulting Group, Inc. What is that, you might ask? Well, let's find out. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here. Oh my gosh, isn't that a mouthful? Scaling Management Consulting Group,
Inc.
Thank you to the SEO wizards of the world. That's how that happened.
Well, tell us what that is. Tell us exactly what the business is and what you do.
Oh, what a great question. Thank you. Ultimately, we help businesses grow and scale. So I am a COO. I have been a COO for many years. I've got 20 years of business experience behind me. Shh, that won't make me too old, I hope.
You started when you were 2.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then we actually really focus on taking the visionary's vision and bringing it right down to the road. Focusing in on that $1 to $10 million mark, because they usually have that product market fit already. It's gone from the idea phase through those really hard first few years or months, depending, of course, on what industry they're in. And then they go, you know what? I can't do this myself anymore. I need help.
Right.
I am at the point where it's not just, hey, friend over here, can you come in and help me do this tactical piece? I need the strategy, I need the expertise. So we go in and we help and assist on a fractional basis. And people ask what that usually means, and it's part-time, really. When companies are growing and scaling, they aren't ready for a full-time COO. Financially, they want the help full time, but oftentimes the cash flow isn't there. And so we go in, we make sure that we're helping them out, doing the best that we need to do. We grow, we scale, we meet the visionary's mind, whatever those goals and outcomes are, and then we say goodbye. Unless, of course, we've found our forever home, and we have had a couple of our team members go into their forever home.
Wow. And so, okay, so you're speaking to the entrepreneur business person, right? Yeah. Okay, and so when their business gets to a certain point, what is that certain point when they're going to say, you know what, I need some help. I need to call Susan.
Oh, my gosh. They usually think about that right around the $250,000 annual revenue mark. It's not it. It's the time when the chaos is getting to the point where they're trying to put their fingers in all the pies. They're no longer just, hey, I'm a great plumber, I need to still be doing this. Now I need to manage the business as well, right? I'm a great doctor, but now I need to manage the business as well. Right. There's an in-between stage where they're still not quite ready. It really does depend on the complexity of the business model that they have. But even if they're smaller, we found that there is actually a way to go ahead and get them the access to the experts that they need before they can bring on a fractional person. And so we love to do that. That's hour by hour type of an engagement. And we take people and their business to really make sure they've got the time and the energy to go back into their sweet spot. The biggest 3 problems that we find people have, and we go into this is January, right, of a brand new year. There's 3 key areas where people have challenges. It's usually profitability. So I don't know any business that succeeds without money and revenue. It's usually team, because there's a lot of complexity, and don't even get me going on the generations, because that's one of my most fascinating subject matters. And then it's all about the strategy. How do I take the vision in my head for that next evolution in my business and really make it happen? And oftentimes they don't have the expertise to really hold the team accountable, because the team might be growing. Just maybe we don't have the time in our schedule anymore to do, manage, lead, hold accountable, and all of these other pieces. And that's when they call us.
Yeah. It sounds like almost like project management almost, right? Like they have this vision, they know what they want, they have the goal, But to develop the systems and to get all of those things in place, it's like, it's chaos.
It really is.
Yeah.
The E-Myth is one of a really good book. It talks beautifully about this particular subject matter. You have a great, and they use plumbers and electricians usually in their book as the reference, but you have a great person who has a great skill set doing one thing. They've gone out, they've built the business, they can bring in those sales pieces and the revenue pieces. Then they start to bring on the team, then there's complexity, and there's this ceiling. And either you break through the ceiling or you bounce back down. The team usually goes away, the complexity in the business goes away, and you've simplified your business back to almost being a solopreneur. Being able to do one or the other can often depend on the right guidance, strategic advice. And that's one of the things I love about my virtual bench of COOs is that we have some that are specialized in sales and some in marketing and some are CPAs. And the ability to really fit that expertise to what the entrepreneur in that business needs is critical to the success of the relationship.
Awesome. And you were saying before that you have monthly events?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Every month we run a different theme. And so every month in the year, and if people go to scalinggrp.com, they can sign up for getting a free tool, something to help them in their business. And if I can just say, this is one of my favorite tools because inevitably you save hundreds of dollars a month at a minimum when you implement this tool. So we give that one away for free, and then they're on the list to get the notification about the event. And so you can pick and choose the events, whether they're profit or team or people or yourself or burnout, whatever it winds up being. Then they're in the system and they can actually pick and choose what they need.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Thank you for I'm an entrepreneur myself, and so, this sounds amazing. It's exactly what entrepreneurs need. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate the invitation here today.
No problem. We'll be right back. Our next guest is no stranger to the What's Up London show. She not only does amazing things in the community, but she also makes our set beautiful. Kay Habib is an interior decorator with a heart. She's here to talk to us about the importance of staging your home to sell for the best price. She will also discuss the services that she offers as part of her home staging and decorating. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So tell us about home staging. Why do it? And what is it?
Yeah, so a lot of times people think that home staging is just about making your home look pretty, but it's a very strategic way of decorating your home, where we're really targeting the certain areas of the home where we want to feature the architectural enhancements in the house, or a certain room, or maybe give a function to a space that doesn't necessarily have a function. So staging is definitely something that is different than just decorating your home. So as a decorator, for example, if I go into a home, the focus is the actual homeowner. If they like the color orange or like the color yellow, for example, I will try to accommodate that color into the decor. But when I go as a home stager and I'm looking at how to make this home really appealing to a large number of buyers, then I may not go for certain colors like that. So that's a little bit of that difference between the decorating and staging.
Right. And it's more than just moving furniture around, right? There's more involved with the staging. Like what would a room look like after it's been staged?
Yes, so the home should really tell a story of how the family will actually exist in the space. A lot of times what we do is like my husband always wants to know where my big TV is going to go. So when people walk into the home, they need some of the questions answered. So they'll walk into the home and there may be a room that's a living room, then we have a dining. A lot of times there's a really big open space and you have to really show the functions of the space. And then going into the kitchen and the bathrooms and the master suite, for example. So it's really about showing the buyers how they will spend their time in the home. So creating that flow and really using decor and the flow of the furniture according to where you want to draw the eye in the home. So we really want them to, if we're targeting families, for example, if we're a home that is targeted towards families, then we really want people to be able to see how they will entertain, where they will sit with their kids to have their breakfast, maybe a nook for a little desk area where they can do their homework, and how they will, relax in a family room to watch TV, things like that, creating that lifestyle element.
So basically seeing themselves in the space.
Yes.
Right. And so we were talking about how staging can help with the sale of the home faster.
Absolutely. There was a lot of surveys done last year and in 2020. And staging is about 1% of an investment for the listing price, for example. So spending that 1% as an investment, the return of that investment is way greater than that. And you can actually expect to sell your home between 15 to 23 days. Whereas if you weren't staging your home, the average home sold between 30 to 45 days, and way longer, it might actually sit on the market. You may have to then think about what you've done wrong. For example, if you haven't done staging and if you haven't gotten your home ready, you may have to take it off the market and then relist it after staging. So it ends up costing you more if you didn't prepare and have a conversation with a professional stager like myself, or even your real estate agent.
Right. And so do you work with the realtors then? Like, is it a connection automatically when they hire this realtor, you're going to be with them? We
always work in partnership with the real estate agent. So I'm in their back pocket. So I'm part of their team. So a professional real estate agent, when they come to you, they will have a team of people that they will talk to you about. So they will have a painter, they'll have a cleaner, they'll have a handyman, and a stager like myself, and then of course a photographer. So a professional real estate agent will always recommend a stager. And what we do is, after the listing consultation, I go in for my staging consultation. So what I go in as, just a fresh pair of eyes with the homeowner. We walk through and we give them a very detailed report of each room, of what the recommendations are. So they might have to remove certain things. They may have to just change the paint colors, or they may just need to add some accessories or art. So depending on what the space needs, I give them a full report, and then it also goes to the real estate agent, and then we work in partnership always together.
Nice. So as you were talking, I was envisioning, if you came into my home and staged my home, I might not want to sell it anymore.
I hear that all the time. Every time the homeowner walks into a home and they're like, oh, why am I selling this again? Why didn't I think of this before? Right? And it happens a lot of times. And it's just, just like when you go for an interview, you want to dress up, you want to look appealing so that the person will hire you. It's the same thing with your home.
Okay, you're very talented at what you do. You do a great job with our set, so thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching and for listening. Please show your support to our guests by visiting their social media pages and supporting their initiatives. I look forward to being here again with you next week, and I ask that you please like, comment, and share this episode with your friends. Be well, take care, and I'll see you next week.